Okay, welcome back to Metal Slug. So, quick note, the rest of these episodes will be post-commentary because I tried doing live commentary, and on Mission 3 I immediately noticed that it was not going to work out because I had some really stupid deaths, and I had a lot of trouble concentrating on the game and talking at the same time. So, yeah, post-commentary, but it's whatever. So anyway, this is Mission 3, and you may have noticed a number of times right there I did something that you can do in the first game. I think you can do it in the other Metal Slug games as well. If you shoot and then immediately turn around or immediately crouch, it cancels the rest of the firing animation, so you can conserve ammo by doing that. Because early on in the mission I usually try to conserve my heavy machine gun ammo. Because sometimes there are ammunition drops and ways to replenish your heavy machine gun ammo before you get to Alan. So, if possible, it's ideal to have as much heavy machine gun ammo as you can when fighting him. And yeah, right here I actually got really lucky. I got a heavy machine gun drop and then a ammo drop. And those are random. As far as I know, there's another ammo drop. As far as I know, there's no way to determine what you will get. So yeah, this game does have a certain amount of RNG involved in terms of what drops you get. Like right there, I can sometimes get grenade ammo or more heavy machine gun ammo. And here we have Alan. He is definitely the hardest part of Mission 3, and the part that is easiest to die at. There are ways to predict what he will do. As you'll see me do, I land a couple grenade hits by sort of jumping across those platforms so he keeps running and gets hit by the grenade. There's even more advanced things you can, or advanced strategies for defeating him, like using your melee up close and jumping to avoid his melee. But that's pretty risky, and I've never actually tried it, so I just decided to do it my way, which I consider safer, since I can do it pretty reliably. And then up here we have a shotgun, which is super useful because there's going to be some tanks up ahead. And there it is. But I also just wanted to use up all the rocket launcher ammo before I grabbed it. And then, this is kind of funny. There's that guy in the porta potty. You can't kill him, but when you destroy the porta potty, he just is there and then gets flushed down the toilet. And then 3 tanks. That third tank doesn't usually actually fire at you for some reason. I think I've only seen it actually attack me once, but most of the time it just sits there. And then this part you have to be kind of careful of the grenade troops in the windows. But you just shoot the explosive barrel a few times and then the building collapses. And then we get a Metal Slug. And from here on, at this point, like, I'm pretty confident that I won't die. Especially since you get a fair amount of cannon ammo. Like right here, I intentionally waited to move forward so I could get both of the POWs and get up to 30 cannon ammo, which is very useful for taking out the enemy tanks and also for fighting the boss up ahead. And if you play this part right, you can kind of just attack both tanks at the same time by using your cannon on the ground tank and then using your machine gun on the tank that's up above. And then that tank on the left I actually have to be kind of careful of because there's been a number of times where it's fired at me from off screen, which is why I was already ducking before it even showed up, because I was afraid it was going to shoot me. And then this guy has a rocket launcher, which I don't want because I still have some shotgun ammo. And ideally, I won't have to even use it, because I should be able to get through it with just the Metal Slug, but it's good to hold on to the shotgun since it does so much damage. And then we have this boss, which is basically just a giant tank, and it actually has 3 separate destructible parts. It has the 2 mine-shooting turrets, which can also be heavy machine gun turrets occasionally. And you can just kind of shoot their mines away with the machine gun before they land, which is ideal, so you don't have to deal with them after they're already on the ground. because they can't actually hurt you while they're in the air. They can only do damage if they've already landed on the ground. And here I'm trying to be careful because the main gun doesn't fire very often until both of the turrets have been destroyed. Once both turrets have been destroyed, then you have to watch out for the main gun because it'll fire rapidly like that. And I actually get hit more often than usual. Most of the time I can get through this without getting hit, but I had a couple of, like, that was a bad jump. I didn't have any momentum going into that jump. But I can usually not get hit just by having full momentum and jumping, and right there, that was just kind of an unlucky jump, I guess. I'm not sure what I messed up on that one. But I still managed to get through the boss fight without losing the metal slugs, which was good. Because I'm not actually very used to fighting this boss without the metal slug. I pretty much always destroy it with the metal slug still intact. Though, honestly, it's easier to avoid taking damage by just not being in the slug. And also, I could have used the trick where you jump out of the metal slug to avoid getting hit every time I go by it, but since I usually can jump to avoid damage, I just prefer to do that. Okay, and then this is mission 4. This is probably the mission I'm most confident in. Like, I can get through this one almost every time without dying, because you have a metal slug for almost the entire mission. And the boss fight really doesn't take much damage, and if you know what you're doing, you can get through it very quickly. So, we'll see what happens. Also, there's a secret at the beginning of this level, kind of an Easter egg, I guess. I don't know if I'd call it an Easter egg, but if you just sit around for long enough, airplanes start to come by and bomb you, and also, like, a bunch of POWs drop on the ground. So that's free bombs, which is why I waited for that. And then you have to be careful here because there's a metal slug up there, but the first time I did this level after not playing the game for a long time, I just destroyed the barrel, and you have to have the barrel in order to get up there. So, yeah, kind of a very cheap thing the devs did to prevent you from getting the metal slug if you're not careful. But if you've ever played this mission once, you know, like, every other time after that to not destroy it. And then at this part, these cliffs have tanks that show up, and there's always 2 that show up. Once you destroy both of them, they don't spawn anymore. And if you destroy the cliff side, you can actually make the tank fall and get destroyed that way, which can actually help you a lot if there's an enemy tank or ground troops below it, because if the tank falls on them, they die. Like, occasionally I've had a situation where I get the tank to fall on top of the enemy tank and destroy it. But you also have to be careful because if the tank falls on top of you, you'll die. And if you're in the metal slug, it's a one-hit destruction. So really not a good idea to stand underneath the cliff when you're shooting at it. But yeah, I'm playing more cautiously than I normally do on this level, because usually I can just kind of rush through it. But since I was recording, I was playing more cautiously than I usually do. Because, as most people will tell you, everything seems to go wrong when you actually are recording something. And in general, I would say my gameplay of Metal Slug has been kind of mediocre. I mean, I'm managing to get through the levels without dying, of course, but definitely was not playing my best in most of these missions, just because when you're recording, the pressure's on. But anyway, and then at this part, again, playing more cautiously than I should be. You can just rush through here with the Metal Slug, and usually, as long as you just keep firing your cannon and machine gun and everything, you can get through without actually taking damage. And even if you do, there's gas, so it's really not a big deal. And then some more cannon ammo, so we're going to be up to like almost 30. Actually, it's going to be way more than that because there's a couple more POWs here, which I learned the best way to deal with, or the best way to get them is to just go down, but don't go too far, because if you go too far, it triggers the boss fight. And then you can get up to 37 cannon ammo, which is way more than you will ever need for taking out these tanks. And the only thing you really have to watch out for is those 2 turrets on the front that shoot the flame shots. You just have to crouch for those. And then when the second tank is left, you just have to watch out for the rockets, which you can destroy with grenades. And if you're kind of smart about it, you can throw a grenade to destroy the missile and then immediately fire a cannon shot before the next missile is in the air to land a cannon shot on it. Because otherwise your cannon will usually end up hitting their missiles and just not doing anything. See, like right there, I just demonstrated. But yeah, so that was mission 4. Not too bad. Lots of POWs. So there you go. And I will see you in mission 5.